Good morning, Wendy.
Good morning.
And you're from Wendie Bass Weddings, Events, and More. What more do you do?
Well, more means everything, because there's more than just the wedding, and there's other events too. So, I mean, it's kind of wrapping up the whole package sometimes. You know, usually there's always a rehearsal dinner, but there might be a meet and greet the night before. There might be a brunch afterwards.
Those are good ideas.
But it's all of those pieces that come together, because somebody has the vision of how it's all going to cohesively go together and flow. And a lot of times that's what the couples want, is they want something that kind of flows for 3 to 4 days, and the planning of all of that for it.
Awesome. That is great. What common mistakes do you see couples making?
They make foolish money mistakes.
How so?
They get caught up in looking at traditions that they think they should have. A great example is I had a bride who bought silver bells.
Right.
She didn't realize with 300 people in a reception hall, you'd never hear those silver bells. It'd have to be dead silence for them to hear the silver bell. The symbol of it was that they were to kiss. Well, she wasted her money on it, you know, because they were never really effective.
Right.
You know, but it's a lot of times people don't realize that there's ways that they can do things and not spend money and come out with the effect they want.
Right.
And that's where a wedding planner comes in, is because we've got knowledge, we've seen things, we've done things, we have tricks up our sleeves that we can do, that sometimes we can help them do things that they're trying to attempt and make it 10 times easier for them.
Wow. What are the most obsolete traditions that you see are best to leave out?
The ones that we've begun to see definitely for sure leave out, because of the clientele being older, of course, garter, bouquet.
Really? No garter toss, no bouquet toss, huh?
Well, because then it singles out their friends who are single still, and when most of the party is married and there's only one or two, it kind of they don't want to isolate those people, so those get put to the side. Trends that are really kind of fun are the anniversary dance.
Great.
Because then we get to have the advice of those people.
Right.
So it's kind of fun to do the anniversary dance in that respect. But garter and bouquet have kind of gone away, you know, just because of the fact that they don't want to isolate their friends. And
awesome.
It makes sense.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
You know.
Things I would not have thought of. How interesting is that? What is the best tip you have for a couple planning a wedding?
Enjoy the process. It's it's probably the biggest party you're ever going to plan for a very large group of people, but enjoy the process. Don't get tied up into the cost issues and all of that. Just enjoy the process and know that there's a beginning and an end to the process, and you've got to go through all of the stages before it all comes to fruition.
Right.
But enjoy it. Have fun with it. Enjoy your catering tastings. Enjoy learning how to do a choreographed dance. Enjoy looking at different colors and looking outside the box to make the event unique to you, but enjoy the process, because it's fun, you know? When you think about it, you're going to eventually entertain in your homes. You're going to do it on a very much smaller scale, but there's a process too when you decide the date and how you're going to do it and all of that.
Right.
There's still a process to it, but enjoy it, because it's fun and it really helps you understand. Ultimately, the biggest thing of what you're doing is you're committing to each other that day. That's the key thing. Don't forget the commitment.
Right.
Because that's what we're all celebrating.
Excellent. What are this year's hottest colors?
This year's hottest colors are kind of going, we see some blues, we're seeing a lot of gold come into this, coppers, some earthy tones come in. So we're seeing some changes come in with it. The color that was picked for the color of the year was Marsala, but Marsala has such a range that you can complement it to. Good. And so there's a lot of, people can express a lot of their personalities in those colors that way. So there's a lot of choices.
Excellent, that's fun. What don't couples know about wedding planners that they need to know?
That we are their biggest help.
Right.
We are not expensive.
Right.
We can easily make things work for them, and the things they struggle with the most, we can easily figure out how to solve those. We are also the person on the day of your wedding that allows you to enjoy the wedding.
Right.
You don't have to be asking the DJ for this, or you don't have to be worried about what time of day it is or whatever. We're there to keep everything flowing and moving and handling whatever your guest needs are, that type of thing. And you get to enjoy your day. And really, when you think about it, you're really focused on who you're celebrating with, and you get to have as much fun as possible.
So you're kind of like Cinderella's mice.
Yes.
Way to go. What questions should couples be asking that they don't know to ask?
One is because they see a sticker shock with a price, they need to know to ask, is there a way that we can pay this over time? Which I do. I set my contracts so it pays out over time. Because we're working on so many things, and you begin to see the value why I do that.
Right.
So that it's not a flat fee, it's a negotiable fee. There may be things that I don't need to be doing that we can negotiate the fee with. If I know that I'm going to be working with a specific caterer, I may be able to say, you know what, I can give you a little bit more of a discount on that fee because you've chosen this caterer. I can manipulate a lot of things to help you be successful. And I can also help you find better pricing, sometimes on some of the key elements that you want. I've got resources and knowledge about how to make some of these things happen. You may want uplighting, but you don't have enough money in your budget to do it. But we kind of do a little manipulation. We might find that we can get you uplighting.
Great, that is exciting. What's the most unusual wedding that you ever did?
The most unusual wedding I ever did, I would have to say it was one that involved a lot of movement. And this was where it took over 4 days. We did this wedding. It was a mountain destination, and it was involved a lot of guest movement, where they had to be picked up at a certain point. We had to move them up onto the mountain, take them off the mountain, all of that. So there's just sometimes understanding that you're directing a lot of logistics, and for some people it gets overwhelming, but it's just kind of stepping back and knowing the logistics and having the people and the points to help make the movement go easily.
Professional cat herders?
Yes, that's very true. But it was one of those where you had to have understood that you had these logistics you had to deal with, that, you know, it took time for people to move from one point to another point,
Right.
to another point.
Right.
So,
And planning your timeline according to movement period.
right, and realizing, but it was a huge amount of guest interaction over 4 days. I mean, these people, by the end of four days, they definitely knew each other well.
Yeah, I bet. A lot of sitting in buses together.
Right. Well, it wasn't so much spending buses together, but it was just that they would be on a tram together, or they would be walking to something together. And so it really kind of, after a while, they were like, wow, you know, it was just all these logistics, you know, but it made it seamless for them. You know, they just kind of knew, okay, at this point. So one, it was a good communication of what the itinerary was for the guest,
Right.
and then also just kind of having it well planned out for the movement of them,
Right.
what happened in those movement points.
Excellent. And what was the most memorable wedding you've done?
The most memorable wedding that I did was at a private home, and it was very much to that family and very unique to that family. And that's what I really like, is that you make your wedding unique to you.
Right.
Don't cookie cutter, don't try to take it off a Pinterest board. This should be your unique statement to you about what your wedding is.
Yeah, I understand that. We were contracted once to do a Latin number with a big sombrero, because there was a family history about the sombrero, the mystery guest at a reception years back that wore a sombrero. So we had to come in with a sombrero, and we left it for the bride and groom, and then taught dancing for the rest of the night.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, those are unusual things that happen. And
Yeah.
so, like you said, unique and individual.
Yeah.
That is fabulous. Well, thank you so much, Wendy. This was
You're welcome.
incredibly educational.